In hardcore classic WoW, every player will encounter hundreds of different enemies on their way to level 60, and the often most dangerous and memorable of these foes are the elite enemies found around the world. These elites will often have much higher health, damage, minions accompanying them, and strong abilities that can make or break an encounter. Here's a list of 10 of the most dangerous elites in WoW Classic Hardcore. Also, this list will not cover any dungeon and raid elites. With that being said, let's begin with the first entry. To begin, let's look to Stranglethorn Vale at the elite boss Myzoth, a level 47 Ogre Magi that is the leader of the Ogres in Stranglethorn, and is found deep within the Mashog Ogre Mound. This Ogre is super dangerous even for groups of 3 or 4, and there are quite a few things stacked against you here. Firstly, he is at the very back of a cave, making it so you are closed in with little room to run, kite, and line of sight. What is worse is that this cave is full of elite ogres that, if respawned, will make running out in a pickle extremely dangerous. And if you are escaping alone, then it can be really easy to die on the way out. As an elite boss, Myzoth also has quite a sizable health bar, and does very good damage while also being assisted by 2 additional ogres who also have a lot of health and fireballs and flame strikes of their own. The most dangerous thing this enemy has to offer though, has to be his Frostbolt Volley and Flame Spike, both of which can do crazy AoE damage, putting a lot of pressure on your healer. Missing even 2 or 3 kicks can make the situation here much more dangerous than it needs to be, so an uncoordinated group can struggle a lot with Myzoth. Next, looking at Winterspring, the elite rare spawn Blue Drake Azurus is a surprisingly very dangerous enemy, and is one of, if not the most dangerous enemy in Winterspring. This Drake spawns every few hours and patrols just south of Everlook along the main path, where he will find himself walking into unsuspecting players and catching them off guard quite often. Even for an elite, this Drake actually hits very hard and can do a lot of damage very quickly with his Frost Breath. Additionally, this breath will slow you and drain your mana, which can make it extremely hard to run away for some classes that have no fast movement abilities and need their mana to live, like a priest. If you have good gear and are at level 59 or 60, you could solo this elite depending on your class, but if you are level 55 or 56, this Drake is really dangerous. If you do encounter Azurus near Everlook, your best bet would be to run to the town and get the guards to help you, which can save you a lot of trouble. But if you are too far away and you panic, this can be a surprisingly very dangerous elite despite his simplicity. Next, and onto an enemy a bit more well known, we have Morladim, the notorious level 35 elite that wanders the Ravenhill Cemetery looking for unassuming adventurers. This enemy is one of the several high-level elites in Duskwood that are far more dangerous than anything else in the zone. With Morladim being a level 35 enemy in a zone where most players will be 5 to 10 levels lower, it is pretty self-explanatory of why Morladim is so dangerous. As a somewhat fast patrol that somewhat blends in with the other skeletons of the graveyard, it is very common that Morladim will sneak up and 2-shot someone if they aren't constantly being cautious of his presence. Even as a normal quest enemy you take on at an appropriate level though, he can be quite dangerous for solo adventures, since his damage is pretty sizable with his Enraging Memories Frenzy ability. Basically, always make sure you are aware of your surroundings in Ravenhill Cemetery, and never go near Morladim solo or unprepared. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to like and subscribe to show your support, and to see more videos from me in the future, as it really helps me out. Seeing as a large majority of my viewers are not subscribed, if you notice yourself to be a returning viewer, make sure to subscribe to never miss another upload. Anyways, back to the video. Next, we can look to some of the dangerous enemies most players will try to take on for the game's many wanted quest, the first of which is Otto and Falconcrest. These are level 38 and 40 human elites found in Stromgarde in the Arathi Highlands that Alliance players will want to kill for some good XP. First of all, since these enemies are deep inside a castle in Stromgarde, they are already challenging to get to, and require a group of at least 3. The issue is that 3 could easily not be enough for the challenge these guys pose. First of all, not only are there 2 of them, but they are also surrounded by several adds, all of which are elite and can result in a fight of at least 4 enemies. This is made worse by the abilities these 2 boss elites possess, with Otto having both a stun and an interrupt, and Falconcrest having a disarm and a battle shout for all of his allies. All of these result in a fight harder than most dungeon bosses, with lots of damage output, putting pressure on the healer, difficult threat management with the disarm, and lots of health to burn through for all of these enemies. I would highly recommend bringing a lot of CC to this fight, as that makes them somewhat trivial, but having 1 or even no CC could spell disaster very easily. Next, we of course have to talk about Overseer Maltorius, the level 50 elite dwarf found within the mines of Searing Gorge. This boss can be very hard to deal with, even for groups of 2 or 3 experienced players, and has a lot of factors that make him super dangerous. First, obviously, he has 2 additional adds that assist him in combat, and even if they don't have any abilities, they are elites, so they pack quite a punch. These adds are so deadly, in fact, that they are by raw kill count the most dangerous enemy in Searing Gorge, likely because players will focus so much on Maltorius that the adds overwhelm them in the end. Maltorius himself is no joke though, as he not only has a ridiculous amount of health, but packs 4 very scary and annoying abilities. His Shadow Bolts hit very hard, and his Shadow Word Pain can accumulate a lot of damage over the course of the long fight. His Power Word Shield lets him live even longer than he already will with his massive HP bar. And his most annoying ability is his Polymorph, which can completely get rid of a numbers advantage your group has. And if it takes the tank or healer out of the fight, it can easily get a DPS killed very quickly. The next wanted enemy for the list is going to be Gathel Zog, a level 26 orc found in the Stonewash Keep in the Red Ridge Mountains. This enemy is the leader of Red Ridge's Blackrock Orcs, and has the strength to back up his position. The first thing to discuss is his location, which is at the top floor of the main building of Stonewatch Keep, requiring you to fight through dozens of elites in what is essentially an outdoor dungeon. So even reaching him can be hard, and could require a full party of 5. Once you reach him though, he's no pushover, as he is surrounded by 3 other adds, all of which have threatening abilities of their own, not to mention Gathel Zog himself. The Shadowcaster has high damage with its Shadow Bolts and Shadow Word Pains, and can be very annoying for Warlocks with their Banish. The Gladiator has a really troublesome disarm that tanks need to watch out for. The elite pet Dragon Whelp Singe is very frightening with its crazy damage output from its Fireball and Flame Strike, being an even stronger version of the other dangerous whelps in the zone. Gathel Zog himself has a Shield Bash and can give you the Infected Wound debuff, causing you to take a sizable amount of extra physical damage, which shouldn't be underestimated. All of these different factors come together to make a very challenging encounter, even for full parties. And if the group doesn't properly use CC, this can be an extremely dicey encounter. For our final wanted enemy of the list, Deathclasp is a level 59 enemy found to the far south of Silithus, and often serves as a final challenge for hardcore players trying to hit 60. This elite Scorpion, accompanied by its 2 loyal guards, is a super dangerous elite that can easily kill overconfident players, thinking they have what it takes to kill him solo. The main things to look out for when fighting Deathclasp are its high damage and poisons, its knockaway which could send you into more enemies while kiting, but most importantly, its paralyzing poison, which is an absolutely ridiculous 8-second stun that if landed on you could easily get you killed with a few unlucky crits and the damage from the adds. Free action potions, or oddly enough PvP trinkets, may be a necessity for this fight depending on your class, because that stun is just brutal. The only class that is not going to have to worry about Deathclasp is probably mages and hunters, since they can kite pretty well. So either bring a good group and play safe, or make sure to prepare ahead of time. Continuing, we have the level 38 to 39 Deep Strider Giants, found all across Desolace. These giants are pretty unique as far as enemies go, as there are multiple versions of them that roam across the entire zone almost, even through the ocean by the coast. These giants are dangerous on land for similar reasons as other patrolling elites, but become a whole lot more dangerous in the water. What makes them so dangerous in the water is how fast they are, and how limited your own mobility options will be. The biggest danger this enemy poses is when you are low health or underleveled, and they either sneak up on you, which is quite easy in the water, or they chase you down, and you're just too slow to get away. Unless you are a druid, all you can hope for is that you can either kill the giant, or you can survive till it de-aggros, both of which are quite challenging with the giant's sizable damage and health. Next, an enemy that of course has to be talked about is the Sons of Argal in Silverpine Forest, the bane of many Horde players' existences, and the reason Silverpine is a no-go area for so many. These are level 24 to 25 elite Worgen with 3 separate spawn points around Silverpine, one just north of the Sepulchre with a small patrol area, one a bit farther north that patrols in a large circle around the varying Worgen camps past the coast and past the Spider Mine, and finally one to the south that patrols around the Grey Main Wall. These enemies are notorious for sneaking up on players and killing them in only a few hits, as they are pretty small, walk right through common questing areas, and look similar to the other Worgen mobs in the zone. These enemies single-handedly make Silverpine an avoided zone for so many, and your first death to one will be a learning experience you will probably never forget. The final enemy for this list is going to be the Fallen Heroes found in the Plaguelands. These are level 58 to 60 elite NPCs that can spawn up to 2 at a time from interacting with Bloods of heroes found on the ground. The Fallen Heroes are extremely strong enemies with a large repertoire of strong abilities that result in death most of the time. These are the ultimate late game noob trap for less experienced classic players, as accidentally looting this blood while alone will pretty much guarantee death for a majority of classes. What also sucks about these enemies is that they don't immediately despawn after killing someone or being de-aggroed, so these enemies can pretty commonly sit around commonly traveled areas where they killed someone else, and since they can actually be a bit hard to see, they can end up killing players who aren't paying full attention. And that concludes the video of 10 of the most dangerous elites in WoW Classic Hardcore. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more WoW content in the future. If there are any enemies you think deserve an entry on the list, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, I'm out.